if Bitcoin's going to make impact, it needs to grow in its market cap, so it's large enough to swallow the world's economy. And the best thing I do, because the best thing I can do in the skills I have and the reach I have so far, is really just get that out to investors. So when they look at it, this is like, oh, that's a legitimate investor. That's an legitimate investment. There's fundamentals behind it. It's not all like Dogecoin memes, and there's some data behind it. And that, no, I'm not going to sell because, the latest FUD round from whatever Bloomberg article comes around. And so that's what I think my role is to provide retail, not institutional, but retail, access to high quality analysis that can understand the investment they're in, and then it can help that market cap grow and more people would come in with confidence so that it's big enough to make some meaningful impact on the world economy.
I do want to tickle a little rant out of you because I saw one of your tweets. I want to talk to you about what happened with Substack and you've moved over to Bitcoin, which is accepting Bitcoin, which is awesome. Is that, by the way, is that Substack have allowed it for everyone or just for you?
Currently for me, rolling out to others. I think I imagine Dan Held will be next. So I mean, I contacted them really early and talked to their staff, and they're like, yeah, it's on the roadmap sometime, wishy-washy, hand-wavy. And then, the relationship developed as the letter started to rise on their rankings. And then, actually the letter blew them away because it was not the profile of any of their Substack stuff, right? Which was like, do all this free content and, there's this standard content creation thing you do. And mine was like completely different because I was leveraging my Twitter following. And of course, what I write is not really like what they do. And so it was really interesting to them. And eventually that culminated into talking with the founders. Eventually deep into, early into this year, they agreed to do Bitcoin for me. And they just didn't have the resources at that point, and they resourced it like, it was only maybe a month ago they resourced it, and they'd already selected OpenNode as the partner to do that, and they nailed it. They nailed it within exactly the rollout plan and time. So, within schedule. Honestly, I was ready to move to Ghost and build it myself. And because right from the get-go, I was ready to launch with Bitcoin, but I just didn't have the bandwidth to go into managing the development around it to build that. And so actually, it came in the nick of time because I was in motions to migrate, so it's live now, and it's awesome. And I'm really hoping that there'll be a big response with that because they're going to use it as a test case. They're really looking at how much reception there is, and I'm just really keen to see like Bitcoin become super popular amongst at least the crypto publications, for them to go, wow, okay, this is something. This is like mostly the story of accepting Bitcoin is like, yeah, it just doesn't work. Then we'll cancel it. Like Stripe offered Bitcoin way back in, 2015, 2016, and then they canceled it because no one was using it. And for me, I'm like, I basically doubled the price if you're using fiat because I don't want to deal with banks. There's just been months, like you've had issues with your business with banks. I've had no end of issues. Like,
well, this is the rant I want to tease out of you.
It's literally weeks lost. It's like, I mean, for example, here's an example, because most people think banking works fine if you're a normie, but if once you're on international rails and money is coming in from one jurisdiction to the other, and it's in a foreign currency, and there's significant fund movements between the two, it starts to become problematic. And so, first off, from going through Stripe and the credit cards, and before that, and then that comes, it gets accepted. This is what actually happens. It gets accepted by Stripe. Stripe then converts the US dollar into Hong Kong dollars because my bank is in Hong Kong. And then they then wire the money across to me in Hong Kong. So that process costs me, was it like 4% plus another 1% because the Forex. By the time it gets to me, it's 5% taken and clipped off the ticket. And then I have to convert it back into US dollars. The bank then clips it again. And if I ever want to stack sats with that, then I've got to, I've gone to US dollars again, and then I'm moving it into an exchange, and then it's another wire transfer. It's just it's very slow. But then on top of that, we just had no end of issues with the bank. It took us, this is with DBS Bank in Hong Kong. They had a 2-day, you can start a business and we'll open up your business account in 2 days, and it's online expedited sort of process. So we did that, we filled in the forms, and then nothing came back. And then maybe 3 weeks into it, we got to talk to somebody, and they just said, what is your business? This is this and that and that and that and that and that and that. And it took 2.5 months before they enabled the account. So I was using my personal account up to then. 2.5 months into it, they enabled it. Then we had issues with Stripe sending the money into that bank account because there was issues with the name, because initially the name was under my name, and then they wired into the company name, and all the documents said that if I am the shareholder of this and I'm the director and the only owner of it, then there's no problems. There are problems. So you got all this paperwork to work through. Took my operations guy I think about 3 weeks of calls with Stripe and the banks to figure out how to get this all done.